Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, welcome to another episode of East Meets West, ladies and gentlemen, Golden State Valkyries edition. So it's for sure the West. But let's give y'all a quick rundown because I know we've been MIA for a while. There's been a lot going on. Oh yeah, happy holidays to everybody. Prayers to everybody in Texas too that's going through that flooding and stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff going on with people. But so we missed y'all for a bunch of games. But yeah, so we beat the Fever on June 19th. We beat the Sun on June 22nd. We lost to the Liberty barely on June 25th. Damn Brianna Stewart and Maureen Johans making her crazy shots again. We beat the Sky on June 27th. We beat the Storm. We beat him down by 27 on June 29th. And today we lost to the Lynx, whatever. And today is July 5th, in case you guys didn't know. So yeah, anything you want to tap in on about that whole slate from there and then? Or from then and now, I should say.
I mean, technically, last time we were on, and apologize for being absent. Sometimes life,
that's on me.
As Michael would say, life be lifing.
Life be lifing.
But on our last episode, we had said if the Valks could go around 500 while the Eurobasket participants were away, it's probably a success. And at that point, we're like firmly like, okay, like we're in the playoff hunt at least, right? Like we're closer to being a playoff team than we are a lottery team. And right, in the 7 games that our Valkyries were off competing in Eurobasket for their respective countries, went 5-2. We went 5-2. So much that we've climbed the standings, right? I mean, going into this game against the Lynx, we were the 6th seed. We're still the 6th seed. Indiana lost today. So yeah.
Okay,
even like if you think we'll fall down the standings, like Indiana, anytime like we lose, then Indiana and Vegas loses. So like they're not gaining any ground on us,
Right.
The point being is, to say the least, I think a lot of fans would say this has been really impressive. How like pretty much it almost seemed like any and every player that Ohemanianen and Natalie Nakase brought in produced. Yeah. Like some more than others, but each of them had their moments.
They did.
I
didn't want them to get rid of Chloe Bibby. I'm sorry, I mean to cut you off.
Oh no, go ahead.
No, that's all I wanted to say. Like I didn't want them to get rid of Chloe Bibby.
I mean, so it's interesting. I mean, like obviously Aerial Powers, I mean, relatively speaking, she played the least. But even when she came in as advertised, right? Defense, force some turnovers, get yourself to the line, opportunistic scoring. She did that. And I think, I'm glad that she had a positive experience. She expressed, like, a lot of love for, Valhalla and everything like that.
Yeah.
It's like, obviously, as you said, Chloe Bibby, I mean, shit. I think she basically helped, like legitimately directly helped us win at least 2 games. Right. She was huge, definitely huge in, I believe, the Chicago game, also against the Fever. I mean, just same thing with Bibby though. I think, I mean, at this point we'll get into it. It's going to be difficult to see her on this year's roster again. Just again, given the roster limits and everything. We'll talk about it. Some players coming in, some potentially going out, but just as, Temi, Julie Van Loo, Janelle Salon, Cecilia Zandalicini, as they just participated in Eurobasket, which is basically like FIBA European Championship,
right? Yeah,
right? No, it is, right?
Yeah,
Eurobasket's just like the name for it.
It's like their qualifiers as well.
Yeah, the FIBA Asia Cup is coming up, right? And now, the oceanic countries are part of the FIBA Asia Cup. So Chloe Bibby will be competing in the FIBA Asia Cup next week. So I think I think there was a mutual understanding that she was going to be leaving, right? Because when Salon and all them are coming back, right?
Yeah.
That's when she would have to have left anyway. So
Okay.
it kind of worked out. Now, having said that, if it's not the Valkyries, I think when Chloe Bibby is done with her national team obligations, she should be on a WNBA team.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
like
Would you thinking of
no,
a team?
no, I'm trying to clean up my language because I was gonna say something a little bit like, basically, I mean, to say the least, she could shoot. Like, I'm not saying she's trigger happy, but she's got a quick trigger.
Yeah.
And like, dude, she is not afraid to let it fly. Accurate, can just step into a three, pull up,
Yeah.
and just very, very crafty scorer around the rim. Like, she gets in there because sometimes it's hard for like a stretch big to also be like a proficient inside scorer.
Yeah.
Especially like if you're already like camped out on the wing or on the arc, and then you still find your way inside the paint. And she
Right.
did, right? And that's what I'm saying. I really enjoyed her time here. I knew she was going to be like effective, even like in preseason. So I hope, yeah. Do I have a team? Well, again, a lot of teams could use her. I would love to see her on Dallas.
Ooh, with
just because,
Paige.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
you surround Paige as well. Yeah, I've been tweeting the last couple of days in terms of
Yeah.
obviously like the mid-range maestro that
I've
she
seen
is.
some of them today. Yeah.
Yes, you did, right? No, I'm saying, right, like, it's not that she can shoot from the three, but she doesn't have to be so dependent on her, like, her long ball, her perimeter game, as our coaches would say when we were younger and we played, right? How do you break a zone? Your mid-range game.
Go to the mid-range, yep.
Exactly. And that's exactly what Paige does. So, I mean, like, it's great then if she has more bigs who can space the floor for her or stretch the floor for her, and she can do what she wants to, like
Right.
in the mid-range, on the elbows, right? So, obviously, they're kind of having some turnover of their own on their roster. They just recently traded Alyssa Smith. I believe they even have an open roster spot. I think right now they're only going with 11 players. So at some point they will likely fill that last spot. And if that happens to be Chloe Bibby, that'd be great.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Unless they just want a super tank.
Maybe Minnesota.
Oh my God.
I know, right? Well, unfortunately, was it? I believe Carly Samuelson is done for the year.
For the season.
Unfortunately. So prayers up to her, hopefully for a quick, speedy recovery. But I mean, like, we just saw what the Lynx did to the Valkyries right now. I mean, like, they're a pretty well-rounded team, right?
Yeah,
but
man,
hey, right?
Like,
if that's something they want to pursue.
I had a bad prediction, like make it where Fee, or they only win if Fee is facilitating. You know what I mean? Because I was feeling like if Fee pulls people in, then you know what I mean? And that's kind of what happened, except it wasn't just Fee. It was like all of them, because the Valkyries were just trying to trap everybody, cut everybody off. So the Lynx just had too many weapons for them today. That's really what it was like. And then you can't give Courtney Williams the amount of room you gave her. You know what I mean? Because she's gonna pull up on you every time, especially elbow. You let her get to the elbow, like, no, man, she gonna kill that.
Yeah. So
I kind of felt like they were playing Alana Smith physical on purpose to try to like get her out of the game mentally, at least. Because it was like she was involved in every physical, like the super physical hits. She was involved in all of them.
I mean,
it's a game plan.
She does play center, so
right.
And I make no mistake, I'm not saying that Alana Smith is like soft or anything. Like no. But I mean, obviously, and neither am I trying to suggest that the Valkyries are dirty players. Absolutely not. But I mean, I think that's as we saw, like again. No, I mean, yeah, you saw their success against the Aces earlier this season. You've seen, well, their massive success against the Seattle Storm, which Seattle with their very like deep, large front line.
Yeah.
They have been able to exert, or to impose their physicality on opposing teams' front lines. And I think that's what they tried to do, obviously, today against Alana Smith. And they did to a certain extent, a certain level of success. But we'll get on to who they did not have success with, But before we get to that, we talked about Bibby, talked about Aerial Powers. Bree Hall.
Oh
again, again, also had limited minutes. Didn't really play as much, but I think again she showed that she should get another shot. With another WNBA team. So maybe Chicago, they need shooting and defense.
Bad.
So I mean that would be nice. We'll see. We'll see. I hope they, like I said, right, even if they can't stay Valkyries, they were able to take advantage of their opportunity to play. And obviously the fourth hardship player who played so well, she's still on the roster. The reigning national champion from UConn, right?
Caitlin Chen.
Caitlin Chen.
Let's go.
I think before we move on, we should touch on that. I think she obviously, okay, so this is what we were talking about, right? We talked about this towards the beginning of the season, really, was that we expected a lot of turnover on this roster. It's inevitable. It's an expansion team. Frankly, you could make an argument, had we gone off to an even poorer start, there would have been even more turnover early because, you're trying to find the right combinations. Maybe we didn't bring the right 12, to start the year.
Right.
But
beautiful
I think,
mindset for this team too.
Yeah, I think with Caitlin Chen, obviously, one, she stayed ready. She stayed ready. Now, she was originally going to compete in the 3XBA, right? But since we signed her, she ended up just they allowed her to relinquished her from her obligations. But my point is that I think a lot of people were upset. Obviously, okay, a lot of fans were upset when she was waived, but I think there was absolute justification, during training camp when she was waived, because obviously, right, Carla Late has her spot on this team. Veronica Burton, absolutely, during preseason and now this entire season has kind of cemented herself as her starting point guard. And then obviously Julie Van Loo was, right, kind of the steady vet,
Right.
But we did say, right, that just the nature of Julie's contract, it's not even to say that she was a bad, she performed horribly for the Valkyries. That's not the case at all.
Right.
But you're on a minimum contract that's unprotected.
Right.
That's the nature, right? You become not, I wouldn't say expendable, but
but you are expendable.
Yeah, right? Contractually, it's a lot easier to move off of you if you need to. And in this case, Caitlin Chen, she kind of she completely just built off of what she showed in training camp in the preseason, which I think was really impressive. It's as if there was no drop off, right? Or there was no downtime.
Right.
She hadn't skipped a beat.
Right.
And I mean, despite this team's success, we got to remember we are still an expansion team, right? And we want to be able to kind of develop, not just both the players and the culture. And given that Caitlin Chen is 23, and let's be real, it's a nice story. We did draft her, it kind of serves as a good, it seems like a good strategy, in terms of maintaining that young core that you believe you can continue working with moving forward.
Right.
Carla Late, Janelle Salon, Caitlin Chen, Veronica Burton. I might be missing some people. Forgive me, right? And then obviously next year, you say to Cite,
Maria Conde.
Well, I mean, she's going to be a rookie, but she's not really a rookie. You know what I'm saying? She's in the see Maria Conde, if she comes and joins the team next year, she'll basically be kind of like what Julie Van Loo was for Washington last year. You're coming in as a 31-year-old rookie. You're a rookie only because,
right,
by the definition in WNBA terms, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, you're as seasoned as it gets, know, which is good. That's an element that the Valkyries will need moving forward. But so that was 14 minutes just basically thanking our former Valks. But no, seriously, I think it'll be interesting now because, like I said, on our last episode, we said, okay, will Caitlin Chen actually get an opportunity to play point or combo guard, whatever, because At one point, Nally Nakase was just having Tip kind of run point with the second unit.
Yeah.
I mean, right now, Caitlin Chen won't really be a pure point. And now that everyone's back,
Yeah.
like I said, today, like her minutes were kind of like limited, which is fine.
Yeah.
You
It
know,
was.
against higher level competition, that might happen.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's clearly a role for her now. You know, I mean, really, as well right now, especially because Carla has been out for a couple games, like the last 5 games of the back injury.
Yeah.
You know, but however, she was kind of going through shoot around and practicing, so it seems like it's not like a
Bad.
bad injury. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but still, right? Veronica Burton, Carla Late, kind of Tip Hayes, so there's still some room there, which is good, right? You don't want to, you don't want to overwhelm her. It's an opportunity to kind of just develop gradually with the team, you know. And yeah, I
And
mean, again, her hard. I mean, I don't know how she does it. It's pretty crazy, man. She like throws her body, you know, like into traffic all the time, and she seemingly like scores. You know,
it's like that's what they were trying to go after when they got their guards. You know what I
I know,
mean?
dude.
Like, oh yeah,
Deep.
give us Tiff, give us Carla Lake, give us Caitlin Chen.
Yeah.
Like, let's get all the attack. I mean, that's a good game plan though. Like, I mean, you want your point of attack to attack. So I mean, they kind of smart about it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I like that. I just wish, at least for today anyway, I wish they would have played Letitia more. Or just at all, really. Like I didn't see her even. She didn't get in the game at all, did she? I don't
No.
recall seeing her.
No.
Like I don't know how she went from last game going off to today not seeing the floor. Like I think they could have used her today for real.
Maybe. Like I can kind of. I'm not saying she shouldn't have. Okay, let's
Yeah.
talk about
Okay.
some of the roster. So obviously, Letitia Amihir was also. I don't think she's necessarily a hardship contract. They
Mhm.
signed her after we waived Kiara Linskins.
Okay.
Now,
So she
again,
was the
she's not
keeper.
like, yeah. I mean, obviously, she still has to solidify her spot. If it was my decision, it's a no-brainer that she stays on the roster for the remainder
Yeah.
of the year. But we'll
Yeah.
see again. But like, I guess what I'm trying to say is, I think at least today, with obviously Fee,
Mhm.
Alana Smith, and Jessica Shepard, and even to a
Yeah.
lesser extent, Diamond Miller, like, I'm not saying LA is soft. That's not what I'm getting at. But she seems to have more success against like small ball fives or speed fives
Okay.
against
I get
traditional
what you mean.
centers. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like
She
Angel isn't a pure 5, right? We know that.
right.
And frankly, Angel was playing center because Camila Cardoso is at the AmeriCup right now, right?
Right.
The Blue Dot
Yeah.
America. But my point is, right? I mean, like, yes, Angel still got like a crazy double-double, but there were times at the very least she kept Angel off the offensive glass because she's using her speed and her dexterity and her agility, right?
That's like a big up to Angel. She kept Angel
Yeah.
off the glass, and Angel went 7. She had 17 and 18.
Yeah.
It's like we
But
stopped
down
a
the
20 rebound
stretch,
game.
to me, you're never going to keep Angel off the glass. The point
Nah.
is, for me, the goal should be keep her off the offensive glass.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that is what LA did. Now, again, today, I don't know. Obviously, we didn't see it because she didn't play. But if that is what Natalie Nakase and the coaching staff was thinking, I get it, right? Because that's why they really wanted to ramp up. I mean, Temi and Monique Billings, they even had some opportunities to play together, you know, again, to try to like, you know, limit Minnesota second chance opportunities. I think that'll be something moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I hope that LA does stay. Because again, not only is she a good, like, how do I call it? Like a speed rebounder, I guess you could say. Like I said, her best attribute, in my opinion, is her second jump. You know, she gets off the floor very quickly. And so that kind of gets negated when she's boxed out with someone with size. Like I kind of understand, like I don't know how well she would have done against, like, say, like Jessica Shepard, right? You know,
Yeah. Yeah. 'Cause
but
Jess was doing a
against
lot
like,
today anyway.
yeah, right. But I mean,
Her
you could say if you see
physicality.
the other games, right? When I
Hmm.
mean, Connecticut doesn't really have any size, but
Yeah.
you
Nah.
know, I mean, she did do
Uh-oh.
well though. Again, no, she did well. She did really well against Malanga.
Yeah.
You know, so like I
And that's
said, I
probably
mean, like,
because she's a rookie. You know what I mean? Probably because she's a rookie
yeah,
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, we'll see. We'll see moving forward. I could definitely see her getting some opportunity in the next game against Atlanta. Because same
Yeah.
thing too, especially with the way
I
Atlanta has
mean,
their sets. No, I
is it
understand. I know.
with Brianna and Brittany?
So here's the thing, right?
Okay.
If she can get inside position on them, I think she
Then
could play
she
to her
can.
strengths, right?
Yeah.
And with the amount of like high screen action that Atlanta does using
Hmm.
Bree Jones and
Hmm.
BG, there's an
Yeah.
opportunity for her to get, inside position early, you know?
Right.
So
Okay.
we'll see. I'm not predicting it. I'm just saying I could understand if Natalie said, "Hey, yeah, let's try it out here." But um yeah, in terms of that, I mean, like, I think her offensive pop though
Mm.
is, again, even though like she was billed coming out of the draft as like this multi-positional defender, which we're beginning to kind of see. We
Yeah.
are. But really, the biggest stride she's taken, right, especially like playing in the WNBL, was on offense. And
Hmm.
again, that's the thing, right? She needs to be put in a position where she could use, right, like her speed
Right.
or like her bounce, right? So whatever that is, like
Yeah.
diving to the rim, duck-ins, anything like that, like baseline cuts,
Yeah.
that can happen now, right? It'll be interesting. I want to see her play with Salon more.
Especially against Atlanta, that probably would actually work because
Yeah.
BG and Brianna aren't the quickest. You know what I mean? They might, well, BG might can get to her just because of her length, but as
Yeah.
far as like you saying she can get in her action early, yeah, I agree with that. I just
Yeah.
was a little disappointed because I felt like she could have affected today's game, but when you put it the way that you put it, like with
I mean, I'm just
Alana Smith, like yeah,
that's
yeah,
my idea, or at least that's my guess.
yeah.
Also, too, I think, like, for example, is Monique, does the league view Monique Billings as a
As
stretch
a
five
center, right?
or a
No.
center? No, but we've talked about it here before, right? At this point,
Hmm.
excuse me, Monique, Temi, they've kind of begun to feel a little bit more comfortable expanding their range.
Right.
You saw it today, right? Monique
Yeah.
cashed in a three. Temi
Yeah.
took one from the right corner.
From the right. Yep.
I don't think LA is quite there yet, like comfortable, like
Yeah.
shooting threes, and that's fine. I don't want her to be.
Right.
But the point is I think they really wanted to try to stretch Minnesota's defense, right?
Yeah.
Try to get like Jessica Shepard, try to get Alana Smith out of the paint, which they can
Yeah.
do, but still fine. Try to open up some driving lanes for the Valkyries. So I don't know.
Hmm.
I think that's kind of where it was at, but we'll see.
I think that's what it was too. Like the Lynx just had too much length on the floor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they were mucking everything up, like for real, and it was annoying as hell. Because the Lynx are actually one of my favorite teams. Fee is probably my favorite player in the league, and I'm sitting up here rooting against them. Like, come on, Valkyries, come on. So I was over here pissed. Like, I'm laying down trying not to go to sleep. I'm like, come on, y'all. Come on, just all in my phone. Like, come on, y'all, on League Pass, and I'm
So
like, come on, man. But I feel like, hold on, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
no, go
I
ahead.
feel like I just wanted to ask you if because I feel like one of the weaknesses of this team may be the only weakness as far as defense is concerned, just flat out weakness is playing the likes of a Fee or a Brianna Stewart or
Yeah.
and it was solidified in the game with Angel because I don't feel like Chicago should have been able to be that close. But with Angel bringing the ball up and you have to stop her at the rim because you don't know if she's gonna get off or not. She's already pulling all the defense in on her. She has everybody keying in on her. So hypothetically, let's say she's a facilitating big or a facilitating 3 through 5. You know what I mean? Which is why I tweeted what I tweeted before the game, where I said the only way the Lynx are going to win is actually if Fee facilitates, because that feels like the weakness to me. Like when Breanna Stewart started moving the ball and stuff like that, then New York made strides. You know what I mean? And Angel and Chicago stayed close because Angel was the one out there facilitating and whatnot. Like, but if Cardoso was there and they were just trying to have sets where they threw it to the post to her or on the block, you could have keyed in on Cardoso. You know what I mean? Whereas with Angel just running around and then just like here, or back there, kicking it out, is like it's unpredictable. You know what I mean? So I can't really see any other weakness other like just flat out this is the way we can beat the Valkyries weakness, because we've seen them beat teams that actually should have they had a way to win, but they actually took that L. So I don't know that it's too much that's weak with this team. It's like the more they play, the more I see, and the more I'm like, oh, okay, so they do have that. Oh, okay, so this is picking up. It's kind of like how we were with the Pistons last year earlier. Like, oh yeah, they 3-point defense is trash, and then they eventually started picking it up, and then it became something that didn't even need to be discussed. You know what I mean? It was just like, this turnover here or this that. Like today, I feel like it was turnovers, and then just the Lynx, just too many weapons. But if if I had to say they have a weakness, that's what it is to me. Playing against like facilitating 3 through 5s.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
Because you could break the zone. Not throw Angel out of that. You put Fee in there with the midi. You put Breanna Stewart in there with the midi. You know what I mean? Maybe an Alicia Gray type. We'll see. That's the next game, so we'll see.
I'll go one step further. I'll simplify it.
Okay.
They have a problem defending Fee and Breanna Stewart. That's it. I mean, and what I mean by that is, I mean, not only are they two of like the best players in the world, but specifically, and this is not to say that they're better than Asia or anything like that, but there's a difference. Obviously, we know, right? Stylistically, they all play differently. That's fine. But specifically, it's not that Asia isn't a good passer. Right.
I was going to mention her next too.
Fee and Stewie, in my opinion, it's again kind of like one of my scouting phrases I like to say these days, right? Are they 3-level scorers? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But more specifically, they're 3-level playmakers.
Right.
See, this is where I think it's tough for any team, especially the Valkyries, right?
Yeah.
Is that it doesn't matter where Fee or Stewie get the ball, right?
Right.
Whether they're on the wing, they're on the block, they're on the elbow,
right?
Nail, right?
Yeah.
They're a triple threat at any place where they're at. That is the problem, right? Now, when you have talented teammates like a Kayla McBride for Fee, or like a Sabrina, you know, who was like freaking on fire, you know, that one time she played the Valkyries.
Yeah.
You know, that makes it even more difficult. But that's why I think they're able to kind of neutralize NECA.
I was gonna bring up NECA too. You going down the list. We think
and
alike.
Even Angel. Like as good as they are, and make no mistake, they still put up. Well, no, NECA has had no success against the Valkyries so far. Knock on wood.
No.
You know, the thing is, like I said, like they've done a very good job, the Valks that is, about their scouting reports, right? Which is okay, like we're going to try to do everything to deny like the face up, like NECA, right? She's not going to get any of like her elbow face ups, right?
Right.
Asia, we're not going to let her get over like her left shoulder, you know? Or fine, we'll let her post up, but we're going to have her post up from like 15 feet as opposed to 13. It makes all the difference, right?
Right.
About when like you actually send the double, when you crash the paint. You know, same thing with Angel, right? Like we're going to gap you on the perimeter, you know, and then we know that you're not going to back us down. You're going to try to go speed,
right?
You know, and at that point, we're just going to shade you, right? But with Stewie and Fee, it doesn't matter. Like what look you throw at them. The only thing they can try to do is play ball denial. You know, and unfortunately, like a game like today, it didn't work. Like, I don't know, maybe that's the Valks being a little too soft because I don't know, they didn't want to like get in foul trouble or something like that.
Yeah.
They were showing double, they were showing blitz, but they never actually did.
Yeah.
So Fee just attacked. She went to work.
Yeah.
Stewie, I mean, she just like at a certain point, she just like, put her head down and just started like, like ramming herself to the rim. And okay, I'm not saying she was like grifting. I'm just saying like, okay, all right,
Yeah.
you're not gonna wait for the defense to like, show you anything.
Right.
So that's the thing. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how they adjust moving forward. Because like you said, I'm with you. Like they're in it.
Yeah.
They're in these games, but at a certain point, like whether it's Fee or Stewie, as you said,
Yeah.
like they're closing.
Right.
They're closers, right? So we have a problem, but I guess, like I said, you could say glass half full, like outlook is like, okay, you're getting torched by two of like the three best players in the
Best
world.
players in the league.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm being somewhat conservative. What, 2 out of whatever you want to rank them.
I mean, that's accurate.
So we'll see. It'll be interesting. These next couple games on this road trip.
Yeah,
but
we have. Whoop. Yeah, the next game, yep, is the Dream. Oh, and it's Monday. I didn't know it was Monday. Okay, and then the Valkyries and Fever on Wednesday, and then the Aces again on the 12th, Saturday. So yeah, so only 3 games next week, and the Monday game is surprising. They usually don't play on Mondays. Nobody. Let me see. I wanted to go to the standings
also too. Again, as you said, right? These teams being so rich with talent or so flush with talent. Is we're seeing the same thing when we have these losses to the Lynx and the Liberty. Is it's easy. Like I mean, like Vegas has talent. I mean, well, they're kind of having a tough time right now, but Seattle is talented, right?
Yeah.
Very athletic, but specifically, like we saw today, the few times that they did a good job, like kind of wrapping up. Like the few times that they did a good job, kind of like forcing Fee to pick up her dribble or kind of like pinning Kayla McBride against like the sideline or the baseline. What happened? Right? They found one little crease, one quick pass, and if it's not a direct pass for like a layup or something, Courtney Williams, Jessica Shepard, Bridget Carlton, they all know how to make like the quick decision, like the quick read and the quick decision. Right. Same thing with the Liberty. Well, I know John Quell's hurt right now, but before that, right? John Quell, whatever, who else was out there? Marina Johannes, Kennedy Burke, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like they're all able to make the quick decision. The teams that we've beaten, like they've done a good job suffocating the lead decision makers, and then the other players, even if they make the right read, it's too late. That's the thing. So I don't know. At a certain point, like I said, I'm not saying that the zone is bad, but you have to be able to shut down, like blanket all 5 players, and that's the problem, right? I mean, I don't think any one player can stop Fee.
Nah.
But we'll see moving forward. Any other kind of general thoughts or specific thoughts?
Let me see. So I feel like they're a playoff team because I'm looking at the standings. I just wanted to touch on the standings. Like, I mean, outside of Washington being 8-10, which is also surprising, and then the Aces 8-9, Indiana 9-9, and we're sitting at 9-8, the Valkyries. I mean, Seattle is only 11-7, and so is Atlanta. So it's like the ability to just kind of get somewhere on this ladder is really high right now. You know what I mean? So and then just looking at today's game, it was just a matter of is so many players coming back in and they have to get back, I'm sure, into the flow of how the offense is supposed to go. And they still didn't look bad. Like they still showed up, they still hustled, played D, had some good looks and whatnot. So I'm feeling like this team will be a 5 seed or higher. I'm thinking, and definitely a 6. Like they may be where they are, and just that's just where it's at. If the Aces don't wake up and Caitlin comes back, but they're definitely making the playoffs. There'll be a 6, somewhere between a 5 and 8 seed. It just depends on how the rest of the league goes. You never know.
That would be crazy.
Yeah,
that would be crazy. Like, well, I'm not saying it's unrealistic, but I'm thinking like, I'm with you. I think they're definitely a playoff team. Well, I think they're definitely.
Yeah.
I think they're a playoff team. I think they're a playoff team. Seeding 5 is a little ambitious. I guess it's
I
not
mean,
impossible,
let's say they won
but
today. They would have been 10-7. Then they go beat Atlanta Monday. They switch with Atlanta. Suddenly they're a 5 seed, and then let's throw a Seattle loss in there. They're a 4 seed, just like that.
I mean,
Just in
I
two
don't know.
games.
Okay, all
So
right.
you know what I mean. And then the fact that they could beat Seattle the way that they do, you know what I mean. So I don't know, man. And if they keep on beating down the Aces, like it's a lot of these key games is gonna come up, and it's gonna actually keep pushing those teams back down the ladder. You know what I mean. So I'm real ambitious. You know, I've been sounding like this since they put this roster together, but I
I
believe
don't
in this
know.
team.
I
I believe in
think,
this team.
like I said, I mean, I wasn't low on this team.
Yeah.
I just
I
was
know
not.
you weren't.
I just, in terms of, like I said, there are certain games that we have lost. Again, like say, for example, against the Mercury.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The second game against the Liberty. And it was
Mm-hmm.
the inability to execute in crunch time. And a large part of that is,
Right.
like I said, I'm a broken record.
Oh,
It's
especially that
the
Mercury game.
lack. Yeah, it's the lack of, a true first option, a true closer,
Right.
and I don't really believe we have that. Or no, we do not have that. And I don't really believe anyone that's currently on this team will emerge as a definitive closer this year.
Not this year yet.
Maybe you could say KT is, but again, even that is
It's
it's a
dicey.
little thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah, it's
It's
dicey.
like
It's
game to
dicey.
game. Some games it's like she'll get her planet threes and hit them all, and
I
then in the next
mean,
game she'll go. You know what I mean? Like
you
it just
can't it's not ideal to have to rely on a series of pull-ups
right,
down the stretch,
right.
right? Um because I mean, like, sure, in transition, or maybe if there's like a defensive miscommunication, miscue, that's
Yeah,
when, like, KT can attack the rim, even like VB to a certain extent. But
yeah,
again, they can't really just do it like against a set D, right? Or at
right.
least they don't do it often enough where you can feel comfortable, like, okay, this is a go-to move, right? And that's why I'm saying, like, I've always felt like this is going to cap our ceiling. And clearly, let's be real, as good as the Valkyries defense is, the offense is still mediocre at best.
Yeah,
Like, right? And again,
yeah.
like, I understand the criticism that fans have of,
What
like,
with the
the
threes,
volume.
shooting
Yeah.
the most threes, but having the lowest percentage. I mean,
And yet they have the second most makes in the league.
yeah,
Right?
it'll come
Okay,
along.
then it's a viable strategy if, again, you can defend consistently,
Right.
right? They showed even today that they can defend the Lynx, but again, right, like, they have to continue, not like a pitch a shutout, but to continue putting together stretches, right? A kill, right?
Mm-hmm.
As we
Oh
call in the
yeah,
analytics
3
communities, right?
stops.
3 consecutive
Yeah.
stops. Very good. I taught you
Uh-huh.
something, right? There you
Oh
go.
yeah. Oh
Right?
yeah. I've known that.
Yeah, see? But
Yeah.
anyway,
I don't have all the knowledge.
yeah.
Like you probably know whole playbooks. I'm not that good.
No, but we'll see. We'll see. And I guess this is my segue is there someone that can help them either on either end or both ends where there's these less lulls? To be fair, there have been less defensive lapses or defensive lulls. It's always
Yeah.
the offensive lulls, right?
Yeah.
Is there? Well, the answer apparently is potential. Well, the answer could be yes, because there's about to be another shakeup in the next 2 weeks, right? As the news broke today, Ilyana Rupert,
Oh
French
yeah. Yeah.
forward center Ilyana Rupert, will be joining the team on July
Next
15th.
Saturday. Yep.
Yeah. So begs the immediate question. Well, begs a number of questions, but the first one: she's coming in. Who's going out?
Right?
Right now,
Mm.
there seem to be 3 names thrown out. I'm kind of surprised the names that have been thrown out, but okay.
Is it
One
Talbot?
obviously is
It probably isn't one, is she?
well, no. There's Caitlin Chen,
Oh
right?
wow. Okay. Yeah.
Again, because you're the unprotected minimum,
Right.
all right? Then just kind of brought up because I mean you have to. LA.
Oh.
Now, the thing is okay, you could make both argument for both of them as to why each one should stay. One, I mean, they're both young. You want to keep developing them. Right. So that's my argument for keeping both. In terms of actual necessity, like, don't we want more front court depth? Then wouldn't that be a reason to keep LA, especially too, right? That she gives you something, frankly, nobody else does, right? Like an array of offensive, like inside scoring, right?
Yeah.
She has quite a repertoire now of like go-to moves, right?
She
in
does.
The paint. Then again, as we said, VB, Carla Late, rookie, right, is your backup point guard. Tip Hayes, who's not really a point guard, and frankly, she's playing heavy minutes at the 2.
Right.
Wouldn't that then be the reason to keep Caitlin Chen? So then it leads you to, as you said, Stephanie Talbot. Who is going to be most affected by, or whose role would be the most affected when Ileana Rupert joins? Let's say we don't cut anyone. Well, to me, it would be Stephanie Talbot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
That's what what I think.
Monique Billings is a 5 at this point.
Right.
Temi is like your traditional starting 5.
Right.
Right. Rupert is basically your stretch 5. Right. Your absolute connector. So what does Talbot do? That's what she's
been steady though, man. Like
and I'm saying I'm not like the whole point is presence. I think people think the defense of her staying on the team, largely a lot of people open up with it's a protected contract.
Yeah.
And it's like a substantial contract, right? It's like not a minimum. But my point is like the Valkyries have like a plethora of open cap space and it's an expiring protected contract.
Right.
There's no reason, like, what I'm trying to get at is that's not a reason to keep her.
Right.
Like, Joe Lacob will eat the dead cap. That's not a problem.
And it's going to expire at the end of the year.
As you said, hypothetically, right? Off air, we were just kind of like, like Michael and I were playing Fantasyland. What if like Dawana Bonner was the 12th player, right? You don't think Joe Lacob would be okay? Like say, hey, you know what? That's cool. Like not cool, but like if we have to waive Stephanie Talbot to make a roster spot, right? For Dawana Bonner. So I'm saying, like, I don't think because that's a bigger name, maybe people understand what we're trying to get at. But I don't think.
Oh, yeah.
Again, I'm not even trying to say Steph Talbot has been bad, but like, it's just kind of.
She hasn't.
It would be. Again, we're still an expansion team. It seems like there's more incentive to continuing this relationship, this partnership with LA and KC.
Yeah.
Right. So. It sucks. And then which brings us back to the topic, expand the rosters, but that's not happening in season. So
exactly. Right.
But in terms of going back to it, we'll get to it once like she finally like, officially joins the team and like she's like, at least in a Valkyries jersey, not just photoshopped, right?
Right.
Ileana Rupert, obviously easy, stretch 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
But specifically, she's a stretch 5 on offense who can guard stretch 5s on defense. That's something we don't really, really have, right? We're kind of like overextending our bigs. To be fair, Temi, Monique, they've done a good job on the perimeter, but still, that's not where they want to be, right? Like we're asking them to get out of their comfort zone.
Because I'm mad when I see Temi above the free throw line. I'm like,
I mean, if you got to switch, you got to switch.
Yeah,
right?
That's Joe about to say.
Leave them open.
Somebody switch.
You can't leave them open.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, our guards have been really good. Scrappy, in my opinion, doesn't do them justice. Yes, they are very scrappy. They're very energetic. They're very active. But no, I mean, they've been very disciplined on their switches, staying down, kind of controlling their fouling. All I'm saying is I understand in those moments where they do need to switch and Temi or Monique ends up on the perimeter. Okay.
Yeah.
We've seen LA have success. That's the thing, right? Like I understand why they're the easier cuts.
Yeah.
But I don't think it like we're still an expansion team.
Right.
Right. Like, I don't know.
So much that people, when they think of expansion teams, they just think of, you're going to throw your first 5 years away. So, you know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. But like, I feel like just because we've had more success than was expected.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that means that we should only invest in the vets. That's not what we're doing, right? So, and I frankly feel like we were lucky to kind of get like a do-over, like a second chance. Like, like we could have brought LA and KC. Like we didn't have to waive him, during training camp. So we're fortunate that like they were still available. It worked, they're a good fit. I don't know, but we'll see. This repair arrival is very exciting, which kind of sucks again for whoever ends up going. But I mean, it opens up a completely different dimension for this team. And again, going back to it, as Natalie Nakase said pregame today, like, they're not necessarily using the Lynx as a measuring stick, right? Every game is a measuring stick against themselves, right? Which is, again, how well are we defending? Are we defending consistently? Because frankly, again, I am not down on the Valks, but there is a definitive ceiling on what we can do offensively.
Yeah.
Like, they can shoot a little bit better. I'm still shocked by like, for example, they're saying today, like Steph Talbot started very cold to start the season. She's been picking up, right? Like she's been connecting on her threes. Who else is out there? Like
Cecilia.
KT, her 3-pointers has like started to come around. VB, you know what I'm saying? They all started out slow. I feel like this will kind of normalize, but even then, we're not talking about like, we don't have like a Marina Mabry like type 3-point shooter out there, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying it's imperative that our defense either stays consistent or even gets better. And I'm hoping that is what repair can help us with, So
let's cross our fingers. But all right. What am I thinking of? Yeah, next game Monday. So make sure y'all tune in.
I know, make sure y'all.
Because I love Atlanta too. I love Alicia. But make sure y'all subscribe, y'all like, throw some comments in there. Tell us what y'all think is coming from the Valkyries. And we'll see y'all after the next episode.
Take care.
Have a good night.